mistakes become a factor in that, making us play more snaps on defense than we need to.
Yeah.
So just like we talked last week, whoever plays cleaner wins.
Yeah.
We got a good football team. We play clean, we win. It's that simple.
Yeah.
We take care of the football. We don't have the penalties. We don't have the turnovers. And the things Coach Lambert said, don't give up the freebie on defense. Make
Yes.
them snap the ball.
Yeah.
I feel very good that we should be the better team. We'll see if we're executing to that point on Friday night.
Coach Gilm, thanks to Exterior Home Solutions, Jeff Hedrick for sponsoring our show. Thanks to the Brian Hedden, Jim Urban, all the guys here at Fox Toyota for having us up here this week. Join us as we go to La Sierra next Wednesday night, 7 p.m. We'll be back for the show. Thanks again. Go Mavericks.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. We're here, guys. This is the Gridiron Guidance Show with Coach Graham. I'm the host, DJ Pendergrass.
I'm Kelly Robertson. It's nice to be here. We're going to tell stories and we're going to have fun. But kind of on a serious note, Coach, you know, it's all about the kids.
Yes.
And I was last week, you know, fortunate enough to get to watch one of the youngsters play. And it's Colt McNally out in the Heritage area. Great kid, great skills. But he's under the weather. So we want to shout out some prayers for him.
That's right.
He's up and coming, and kids like him, hard to come by.
Thanks, Coach. That's big, and that's what it's all about. You know, it's sports has gotten so serious nowadays that we don't realize what it's about. At the end of the day, it's about fun and opportunities for kids to get together, congregate, and learn from each other. Please, everyone out there, this is a kid in Heritage, in Blount County.
Right.
Please, everyone, if you can, just say a soft prayer for that young man and hope that he gets better.
Absolutely. And while we're on that, we have a genuine young man. A lot of you guys have been supporting for a long time fighting cancer. Want to give a shout out to P-Man and the Roane County area as well.
Great. That's right.
Guys, we're excited. How you feel about today?
We are ready to go. It's time for football.
We're going to put it on the spot. We expect you guys to make sure when it's your turn to give a call in. We have gurus right here at the table. We want you to question Coach Graham. We want you to question Coach Kelly. And we're going to just bring the heat as much as we can. We enjoy this, and we love you guys for tuning in. Thank you very much.
You notice my shirt I'm wearing, don't you?
Gamble Valley.
I'm repping.
Gamble Valley.
I'm repping the neighborhood
I
today,
like that.
man. I'm
I like
repping
that.
the neighborhood.
Now, who
Just
came from Gamble Valley? Name a good one that's in the league right now.
Oh, that's in the league right now. Let me think. I got to think about that for a second. QRST. T Higgins.
T Higgins.
Yes,
Shout
sir. out to 5.
Shout out to 5.
I
T
forget.
Higgins.
I forget T is number 5 now sometimes. But,
Yes.
But T Higgins, very special young man. Not just on the football field, but he's as amazing off. Quiet, humble. I was scared, thought he was a little too humble, but he knew his path, you know. So just very proud of that kid and young man. He told me that I'm a grown man now, Coach.
Absolutely,
so He's a young man.
Don't you love it when you hear that?
Absolutely.
You know, I'm a grown man now, Coach.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
He made sure he checked me on that. But I tell you what, if anyone know his mother, she still mama. So congratulations, that fella. Yeah, shout out. I have my Gamble Valley representing Scarborough 85 historic group that came through and helped integrate schools in the South. So very proud. I'm proud of this shirt. And I know what I was going to wear the first day. We do have Graham's Gridiron guidance shirt.
We'll give a shout out to All In Apparel.
All In Apparel.
Absolutely.
Yes. A neighborhood young guy that I'm very proud of.
Yes.
That's doing big things. So come on out and check him out.
All In Apparel, guys. Omni Harris doing great things. Now, Coach, we speaking about what you have on in Gamble Valley. I notice Coach Kelly right now has on some bling. Let's talk about that, what you have on right there, Coach.
Hey, I'm just telling you, this is what it's all about. And I promised a mom today that I was going to get her son one of these as well. So, Carrie, if you're watching, you know you're going to get to see Colt wear one of these. Coach Graham.
Oh, God, here you go.
You know, I'm going to have to start on Coach Graham. I should be heavy-handed.
Uh-huh.
You know, Coach Helton and I dropped one in Nashville one time that we shouldn't have dropped by, just about 3 points. And but Coach Graham probably had the best football team that's ever been around in East Tennessee. Those kids were getting ready to start their senior year, and Coach Graham, like the true champion that he is, runs off to North Carolina to coach and leaves that team. And Coach Graham owes me a ring.
He owes you a
and he
ring.
knows that. So when I get back in it full time again, then I'm going to collect that ring.
So you should have at least 3 rings.
I should have 3 rings, and if I did have the 3 rings, I would be wearing all 3 of them at the same time, and I'd make Mr. T look like a chump.
That's right.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, Kelly stays on me about that, about leaving. A lot of people, and your path is your path, and love the kids in Lexington. Then came back home to Oak Ridge, where I was born. Because I always, people may not like this, but Austin East is kind of my home. That's where my family was started, and that's the place where I started my career. So Austin East will always be home, and I can say Oak Ridge is home, and Scarborough Community Gamble Valley is home. So I have 3 homes that I can call places that I can call home, and I'm proud of that. I'm very proud of that.
Absolutely.
He is the fair-haired child of Oak Ridge. Well, we counted up the other day, not but we're counting the best 5 football players that's ever come out of Oak Ridge High School. Graham was one of them.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Got to give the flowers, man. Got to give the flowers, Coach.
Well, there's so many great players that came before me that's playing now. I don't know about 1 to 5. I don't know about 10. I don't know about 100. But what I do know is when I played to win. I played for my community. I played for my buddies. Woodland, baby. Woodland Mustangs all the way.
Okay.
So I really enjoy playing for one of the most prestigious high schools in America, in the United States.
And probably one of my favorite high school coaches ever, the Willie Nelson lookalike, Coach Emory Hale.
Emory Hale.
Yeah, with the long hair, with the bandana, and striking it, calling every play, knew what he was doing. Oak Ridge was top chain.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Well, speaking of plays, Coach, let's talk about Chalk Talk. Can we get on some Chalk Talk?
Yeah, we get on Chalk Talk. The question of the day that I actually got this question by 3 different people hit me on Facebook and said, for my question of the day, and each week we're going to try to have a question of the day, and I'll do my best. But I'm going to warn you on something. When you go through these Chalk Talks and things like that, I've been to a lot. I've been fortunate enough to, I don't know how I did it, but being invited to speak at certain things and certain clinics and stuff. And I can tell you this, one thing I've learned, whoever has the pen last is going to win. So you come up with any type of thing you want to. And what I did is I'm coming up with what I think or what I thought in my experience of dealing with empty sets, all right? So in an empty set, you have that picture back there. Empty set. Let's look at this empty set right here, all right? One thing that I do for football talk people, I always, in the base, they can do so many things off of empty set. I know at Austin East we would do that some because we always had talented quarterbacks that could run. And we would do that to force teams to spread because at Austin East and even at Lexington and Oak Ridge as well, we have athletes on the outside that can run and make you miss. So we want to use 53 1/3 yards of a football field to make you play. And if we find one mismatch in this situation, you take advantage of it. That's what makes an empty set difficult to deal with. For me, how I defend it is, first of all, always be able to control your front. I don't care if a team throw the ball 90 times a game. Make sure that they can't take advantage of your run game. Football is a game of mathematics. It's nothing but geometry and counting numbers. So what I do is, if you look at my 2 defensive tackles, I shade those 2 guys. I make them gap guys. Why do I make them gap guys? So I can force a double team with the center. I don't want the center to block by himself. Now, some offenses may slide protect, which still you're going to leave an open gap or open vertical lane defensively. So I keep those 2 guys inside shades so I can demand a double team by one of the guards with the center. What I do with the linebackers, I tell my linebackers to even or. And what I mean by that is one linebacker would be a spy, and I'll tell you that in a second. The other linebacker is going to shoot a gap. We're going to find out through film work which guard and which tackle is over anxious, and also which way they like to run traps with the quarterback, or quarterback run, or pull somebody. So I want to make one guard attack what they would call B gap. If you look from the center of the guard, that's A. From the guard to the tackle, that's B. I'm going to shoot B gap with one of those backers. So if they are having movement with their offensive line, he's going to run into somebody and create a pile.
Right.
My ends, I'll tell my ends to really watch film. And people wouldn't know this at all the schools that I've coached at. Every school I coached at, I've been big on film. And we watch film. You can tell a lot from the first 2 steps of a lot of things. Most kids, if they're a zone team, they're going to kick slide 2 steps straight back if they're pass protected. Especially if you got ends that's going to come off the ball, like that Souls kid at Powell. You better get back real quick, you know. So when I see that, I can tell the difference from that. Now, one thing, when they're running, they're going to take a step forward or to the side. So I tell those ends to always pass, run, no matter what, attack the via their neck right now, and it's going to tell you what they're going to do. So if I'm attacking via the neck and I see a pass set, I'm going to be able to notice the pass set. What I notice out of this, out of empty sets, a lot of teams, Campbell County, i.e. Campbell County, who's great at it, will throw the screen, the tonal screens and quick screens, the key screens to the outside as their perimeter run game. But if I'm a defensive end, I'm going to notice that step of that tackle. If that step is kind of, even though it's back outward, then I'm anticipating them running the screen. I'm going to get my hands on him and hold him up. Mm-hmm. All right, so when I go to the outside, my outside backers, right now, if you look to the 2 receiver side where it's just 2 receivers, at Austin East, I had dogs. I had some dogs in the secondary. I had some guys that could run and get it, and they could defend. They were some dogs. So we would play you man. We were going to play you man at corner. Our backers was as fast as our DBs. And we were going to play you man, really have a high inside presence, and say, okay, beat us over the top, beat us. I have a safety that's a ball hawk. He's great at reading the quarterback's shoulders and seeing where the quarterback's getting ready to throw the football. That guy in the blue, that outside backer, that overhand, that apex guy, what I do with that guy is I split him between the 2 and 3 receiver on the 3 receiver side. What he does is, because of the screen game, he works. If we're playing man, of course, he'll have the number 2. But if we're playing a cover 3 zone with that, which we can do as well, he's a flat defender. And because of the screen game, he will read through. And soon as number 2 goes out to look like he's getting ready to block for a screen, he's going to turn with his back toward the quarterback and attack number 1 right now. Why you think he'll have his back to the quarterback? So number 3 can't block him.
Gotcha.
And silly.
Gotcha.
All right, because most kids, if they see your back, they naturally just stop.
Right.
All right. So out of this, you can play cover 3, play cover 1. You're still safe. Now that extra backer in the box, what I do with him is he would go opposite of where the safety, more than likely right there, and that safety would go toward the field. He would work back 10 to 12 yards, like some people know as a Tampa 2, and sit. And he's a crossing magnet. And he would sit toward the middle of the field, and you'll be able to work it. That's how I would defend.
No, I'm over here laughing. Let me tell you why I'm laughing. Because these people have listened to this defensive way of looking at things. Now that I don't work for you anymore, Graham, I'm going to celebrate and I'm going to laugh because all of us offensive coaches, we look good for our age. All you defensive coaches, y'all all gray-headed and everything, sit around and worry about stuff all the time. Let me give you something to worry about. Now, you've got all this stuff fixed on paper, but I'm going to name drop on you, Coach. Okay. I'm going to have DJ Oggs at quarterback, and I'm going to have your son out on the edge, and I'm going to get the ball to your son real quick. How you going to defend your son? You can't do it, Graham.
Well, with my son.
Okay, there we go. Here we go, folks. Here we go.
All right, let's talk that through. Which side are you going to get my son the ball
to? It don't matter.
It
don't matter. With your son, it don't matter. And there's a bunch of good ones out there. That's why, Graham, you're already sweating. You defensive coaches, y'all live to sweat all the time. Y'all worried all the time.
I'm going to tell you a secret. Whether it's my son, whether it's T. Higgins, the ball got to travel. While the ball travels, them dogs coming.
Well, there again, Graham. I ain't gonna just stand there and let you just run upfield on me. I'm gonna block somebody real quick, and we're gonna get that ball out there on the edge to your son. Graham, have you ever seen anybody that can tackle your son in space? No. Okay, I'm gonna answer that question for you.
As I said, whoever has the pin last always wins.
I'm gonna get the pin last.
I tell you what.
He's a great
to touch base
defensive
on
coach. He
Graham's
really is.
son. I seen him play at Robertsville, and I seen him play at Oak Ridge High School. Good luck stopping that, coach.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
luck
You
stopping-
outvoted Coach
Good
Graham.
luck stopping that.
All
But
right.
we want to move forward. We do need to.
Go ahead and call coach.
Yeah, we got to call these coaches. So we got big game coming up this week. The game of the week, we're looking at Oneida versus Cofield. Oneida's taking the home field. It's going to be a big game. This is going to be the Cow. Moo. What is the Cow? What is the Cow? Coach Graham, tell us what the Cow is.
Yeah, I could say game of the week, but we're in the rural area of Roane, Anderson, and Morgan County. The Cow, C-O-W, is the competition of the week.
Competition
That's
of
our
the week.
Cow. Move. We're gonna move right now. So right now we're getting ready to call, I think, Coach Napier
Yes.
at Coalfield.
Yes. We get Coach Napier on the phone.
We've got Cofield and Oneida coming up, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's going to be a game.
Yes.
That's going to be a game. That's tradition.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Coach. Hey, it started already, huh?
Yeah, it got here quick. I'm glad.
Good, good, Coach. First question I have is this, Coach. How are you going to deal with that quarterback from Oneida?
You know, he's a very good player. You know, he runs the football as well as he throws it, so that makes it very tough because not only do you got to account for his arm, you got to account for his legs. You know, Coach Jones, our defensive coordinator, I think he's got a very good game plan in place for us to try to limit the quarterback run, but he's a very good football player, and we're going to have to be sound defensively to be able to contain him.
Coach, talk about that game, because I remember I joked with you about this before. That game is usually late October, and it's usually snowing, sleeting, rainy, muddy, and every coach on the field got on shorts.
Yeah, you know, it's one it's always been, you know, the last few years it's been the last game of the regular season, but it's always typically been end of the year. You know, what the game of football is supposed to be like when that weather gets like that.
Yes,
You
sir.
got to be a man to play it. Guess with the TWSAA setting the regions and stuff, we ended up Rockwood dropped down in our region in 1A, so that was mandated week 11. Me and Coach May talked last year, and we said no matter what, we're keeping this game. We were able to fit it into week 2, so you know, I guess it just seems right that hottest time of the year now, we're going to get to play it. So the shorts will make sense this week.
The shorts will make sense. Coach, I know that you took over for a legendary coach in Coach Henry, and just talk about the pressure of coming behind a coach like that.
Oh, well, Coach Henry had to do that as well, coming behind Coach Chris.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
It's not easy because it's already set. The standard is of what's expected. So, because you're in, you're out. You know, you got to live up to that, or it's a letdown, and you're letting everybody in our community down if we don't achieve that. It's one of those things. I feel the pressure because I played for him.
Right.
So, you know, I don't want to see something that he built drop because of me. And, you know, it's something I've been very fortunate. He had a very good culture in place that I walked into, so that made things a little easier because the culture was there from what he built. And we got a great group of kids that it's not really anything I do. It's my assistant coach's game plan. They put in a great game plan for us. They put a ton of time in, making sure our kids are in the best situations. And, you know, at the end of the day, players are the ones putting the work in the off season, and they're the ones making plays on Friday. And I've been fortunate to have that in place.
Yes. And one thing that I can say, I can remember when I came back home. I know you know this. Coach Henry and them knew this, but a close friend of mine was Greg Ryan of Greenback. So my family went to watch Greenback and Coalfield play, and my wife said, I hadn't seen hitting like that since we left Austin East. And it's just fun to watch old school football. And
and that's one we hang our hat on that. You know, we're at Coalfield. We're never going to be the most athletic team week in, week out. So we got to hang our hat on being physical, playing smash mouth football, smacking people in the mouth, and we feel good. If we're the most physical football team on Friday nights, we're going to feel pretty good about where we're at the end of the day.
Coach Graham, that's where we need to be Friday night, because there's going to be more intensity in that ball game.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember Coach Mays from years ago up at Oneida. You know, he lived for that game. I mean, the hitting that's going to go on there, man, I'm getting ready to rock. That's where we need to be.
Coach, it's just Wednesday.
That's the show.
We don't want to get you too ready, wound up, Coach, right now. So, once again, Coach, thanks a bunch. Always been good to me, even at the All-Star camp dealing with Coach Keefe and Coach Gaddis. That we always have a good time. Well, I do appreciate you. Thank you for being a part. And to the communities of both Oneida, and I'll say this again with Coach May and Cofield, you guys do a great job supporting your programs from youth league all the way up. You got a quarterback that's getting ready to go to the NFL next year.
Absolutely.
And I got to watch that kid develop, and it started even with the Crush, the Orange Crush team in the youth league. You guys do a tremendous job of making football important.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank you for that, Coach. And thank you again for coming on the Graham's Gridiron Guidance.
Well, I appreciate you having it, appreciate the coverage, and looking forward to Friday. Thank y'all.
All right, good
Hey,
luck,
Coach, before you get off here, I definitely want to give a shout out to Parker McKinney, but this is Coach DJ. Coach, I want you to give Waylon Burgess my love, would you?
Yeah, I'll let him know.
No doubt. Thanks. Good luck, Coach.
All right, thank y'all.
All right.
He's so nervous, I don't know how he's standing it right now, how he talked to us. And you remember that feeling, Graham? That's a feeling, isn't
Well,
it?
when you hit that table, man, I started feeling I wanted to get up.
I know,
myself.
me too. I fired myself up.
Hey, I started smelling chicken wings.
Yeah. If anybody needs any chicken wings, Dusty Lennon Stadium, Jarman, he can hook you up.
He'll hook you up, baby. He'll hook you up. All right, now we're getting ready to call Coach May at Oneida.
Think we ready? Is he on here?
I think it'd be green.
Okay. I think we got him here in 3, 2, 1. Yes, we're ready. We're ready.
You ready? All right. Hey, Coach May, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, man. We're already fired up. We can hear them pads popping now, even though it's not 25 degrees, sleeting with a muddy field.
Right.
Coach, just to talk about the game, man, it was a great game last week and against Rockwood. That quarterback of yours special, man. He's special.
Yeah, he is. He's just Caden Rector. It's his third year starting for us. He's played a lot of games, and as a sophomore, led us into the quarterfinals. He's a good kid. He's smart, and he knows what we're doing on offense, and he can get us out of bad plays. And he's just an athlete. He can make plays. And he's got a good arm, and he's been a good leader for us.
Great, Coach. I'm gonna ask this: what is it like coming in on a Friday night in your father's stadium?
Well, that's special to me. I got to coach. I played for him, of course. Me and my brother both played for my dad here, and I got to coach with him for a little while. And have the stadium named after him is a great honor for him. And it's a special place for me. And we always want to do well because we're playing here and playing in his stadium. And it's just a special place for us to be here in Oneida, the fan support we have. And you always want to try to do your best. You don't want to let anybody down.
That's right. That's right, Coach. We have a friend of your dad that's here, Coach Kelly Robinson.
Got to meet him at a University of Tennessee coaching clinic. Your dad was a class act, enjoyed his company every time I saw him. Miss him greatly. The game misses him greatly, and I know Oneida misses him greatly.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, he was. And I'm kind of partial because I missed my dad, and I looked up to him. He taught me everything I knew about football, growing up, and what to do, and then basically just how to treat people. How to treat people and get them to play hard, and they'll play as hard as you can get them to play for you, as long as you treat them right and take care of them.
Yes.
That's right.
The integrity level that your dad had is very hard to come by these days.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. I think so. I think it's changed a little bit, but he was always, he'd get fired up and want to play, and but he was always a class act, and win or lose, he was going to go shake your hand and say you did a great job, and and brag on our kids all the time, whether, whatever the outcome was, as long as they played hard, he was happy.
That's right. That's right. Let's talk about this game, because this is one of the games that around here you have the Oak Ridge, and everybody say Clinton, but it was Oak Ridge in Central or Farragut.
I think it's Farragut.
Farragut.
I think it's
and
Farragut.
You have the Austin Eastern Fultons, Mervilles, Alcoas. But this game right here, Coalfield Nida, is one of the most competitive games year in, year out in East Tennessee. Can you talk a little bit about that rivalry?
Yeah, we played them, I think, maybe, probably our longest standing rival, maybe like 60 some odd years we played them. We played them that many years in a row until about when COVID hit. We couldn't play that year. The last game we had to COVID out of that game because we didn't have enough to play.
Right.
But we picked it back up, and it doesn't matter. It seems like we played in the middle of the year, end of the season. Years ago we used to be in the same district, and it was always the district championship, and they're a well-coached team, and they take pride in their team, their community does, and they're going to play hard against us, and we're going to play hard against them. It's just a big rivalry, even though we're not in the same class anymore, but it's a good measuring stick for both programs.
Coach, name some of those other kids. Rector gets, he should, gets a lot of attention. The running backs, both of your running backs are pretty darn good players themselves. But talk about those kids that a lot of people don't know about that's going to make a difference in the game and in the season.
Well, I got probably the youngest team I've ever had. I only had 8 seniors, and one had never played, and one had surgery yesterday. He's out for the season. My starting running back, so we've not had him all summer.
Wow.
Unfortunately, he's not going to play his senior year, but we've kind of been running back by committee. But we have some other seniors that have played. Just not many of them have as much experience. But Landon Lindbergh is a wide receiver, defensive back. He's been all region. He's sophomore and junior year for us. He makes the big plays the other night. I think he had over 100 yards receiving. Levi James is another DB. He's a junior. He made all region last year too. And not a very big kid, but tough as nails and will come up and hit you. And they're just making plays in the passing game for us. And then we've got some other kids that are sophomores that got Brady Burke. He's our right tackle. He's a sophomore. He's 6'5", 275, and he's a big kid. And we're going to give him 2 more years. But he's working hard, and he has a goal for himself, and he works hard. Never says anything. Just comes to practice every day. Just people like that have just showed up, and and been kind of keeping us together. And we're building. Even though we're young, we don't have a lot of seniors playing. Only about 3 of them had any experience, but these young guys have really stepped up.
Wow. Coach, this kind of final, just once again, talk about that rivalry and the importance it is, not just on the game field, on the ball field, but in the community itself.
Yeah, it's a big rivalry here. They want you to win. They expect you to compete. And last year they got us pretty good up here last year. We keep, we always come on play because it's a big rivalry. And they're always good. They're well coached. They've got great players. And our kids, want to step up to the challenge and see where we are. Now it's early in the season, second game of the year we're playing instead of last game. But they're excited. We're excited about hosting them. We know they're good. They've got a great quarterback. They've got a receiver. They're always physical. They're always running the ball. And we're going to have our hands full with them because they've got Tracy quarterback and Henry at linebacker. Roberts at receiver. They got a lot of good players that we're going to have to try to match up with. But we're going to see some of this. It's good for us later because we're going to see this in our regions. We go down the line. But, the rivalries. I played in it. My brother played in it. People here playing. They always talk about the Oneida Coastal game. That's what they're going to remember you by. So that's something big here for us. I know they look at it the same way because they're going to come to play, and it's just a good game for both sides.
Well, I'm fired up about this game. I mean, Coach Graham, we need to be there. I can smell the popcorn. They've got great hot dogs up there. Oh, son, we need to go. And I'm missing it.
All right. Thanks again, Coach May, and good luck to you on Friday. One last question. How are you going to deal with the heat? Because they're saying it's supposed to be
way up. And I don't know. And what happens on that, Coach? When the trainers, with the little thing around their neck, they've got it on Friday night, just like they have it on Tuesday.
Right.
What do you do?
I've been watching it. I've let them we've done some stuff. We took our shoulder pads and helmets off when we were doing some of our special teams run without it on,
Right.
And we went back and put our pads on, kind of make sure we got a lot of water breaks in practice, sit in the shade when they could. And, we've been trying to deal with it, been trying to talk about, I talked about Monday about drinking water, Gatorade, getting fluids in you, because you can't wait till Thursday night.
That's right.
It'll be too late. But it's hot, and I would assume there'll be a lot of water breaks during the game.
Right.
Since it's, heat index is in the 90s. I mean, it's been miserable. It's too hot to be playing football, in my opinion, right now.
Right.
Like this, but, we all have to deal with it. It's hot everywhere.
That's right.
I told the kids it's hot in Coalfield, it's hot here. Everybody's practicing. We just have to attack, and I'll take care of you and watch you. And we've actually done pretty well, but, we'll see what happens Friday night with the heat, because, it's always a little different because you're a little more amped up Friday. And
Yes.
see how we embrace it and see what happens.
Thank you so much, Coach, for being a part of Graham's Gridiron Guidance, and good luck Friday night. And we may be there. I'm going to beat Kelly in the hot dog line. I used to be slim, now I'm not, so it's okay for me to grab a hot dog and a Coke. I might get a Diet Coke, Kelly.
No. No.
Good luck to you
Good
Friday
luck,
night,
Coach.
Coach.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in. That was nice. That was good.
Talking to these coaches
good.
has got me rocking. I'm ready to go. Graham, what are we doing sitting at this table? We need to be at home, tired from football practice.
I know it is. I miss it. Sometimes
too.
I do miss it. I miss
But
it.
I don't miss it right in the middle of July when it is 100 degrees. I don't miss it on those afternoons.
Yeah, that's
So Coach Lowe at Powell, the answer is still no.
Oh no, Low slick. Low not how
Low
to talk.
can't-
Low
Low can't
and this
talk
guy
me
right
into
here, the
nothing.
best talkers I know, Coach. Low and DJ, they the best talkers I
I
know.
appreciate that, Coach.
Well, I tell you, it is hard. It's hard on everybody when it is that hot. But Graham, we've served our time. We can be sissies if we want to now.
Yeah, and he didn't say that because today we got a different days and time. We can't say words like that no more.
Can't
but I
say
know what you
sissy
said.
no more.
No, I'm serious. Fred Sanford will be off the air.
Oh, I'm telling you. Well, yeah, that's why I don't watch television.
That's good. All right, now we're ready for some phone calls, man. We're gonna
Absolutely.
talk. Let's get it going. I'm ready to hear some questions and some answers, and some people to tell me how I can coach and how these other coaches can coach and need to coach.
I tell you what, guys, if you want to test the guru's knowledge, right now is the time for you guys to call in. We thank everybody that's already tuned in right now. We salute you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I'm your host, DJ Pendergrass.
And I'm Coach Kelly.
And then this man needs no introduction at all. The man, the myth, the legend, Coach Kwayu Graham. Coach Kwayu Graham, how do you feel about how important is equipment for programs?
Very important. You're dealing, and several reasons why. Number one, and it's going to sound strange saying this, but optics. Optics. Programs with the right equipment that looks the part gain attention from kids. They want to be a part of that. Number one. Number two, safety.
Absolutely.
Most importantly, I should have started that with number one, but safety.
Right.
Equipment is very important. You have to be careful because it's about the mighty dollar. A friend of mine, Gary Johnson, used to always say, "You just always follow the money." So you have to be very careful with that. But with everything going on these days, they do a great job of making sure that young kids are in the proper equipment. Now, you think about it. How many years ago, right before COVID, you remember this thing about the safety of football, the head injuries and stuff?
Yeah.
Science has really, and thankfully, it kept football going, because there was a time, I was fortunate enough at that time to get invited to some of these meetings to talk about these things up in Akron, Ohio. We would go up there and have meetings about that, and they were serious about football possibly being removed. It was serious. I mean, it was a lot closer than we think.
Heard Coach Majors talk one time, and he said, "Gentlemen," which is such a classy man, he said, "Gentlemen, we have got to teach our kids to keep our eyes on the numbers, and when they make a tackle, have their lips on the football.
That's right.
Eyes on the number, lips on the nose of the ball. or we will not have this game, gentlemen.
That's right, and that
And
was
that
some
was
time ago.
prophetic,
That
you
was
know.
some time
Yeah,
ago.
that's
Right.
perfectly
Prophetic.
said.
But as far as equipment is important, it's important, and this is something that I see, especially in the youth ages. And I'm not going to put this on youth coaches. I just think the directors and the ones in charge really need to get with coaches and get them trained to properly fit
Amen.
kids.
Amen.
And it's not just for safety. It's also for that kid that because it wasn't safe, that get hurt and have a negative feel about the game.
Exactly.
And so it's very important that we do.
It does not take that long to fit a kid
No.
correctly
Absolutely.
in their uniform, in their pads. It doesn't take that long.
And if I'm a parent, you know, I have grandkids right now. I'm a soccer poppy. I'm a junior dance cat poppy. I'm a softball poppy, and I'm a gymnastics poppy. And I don't have right now. In a couple months, I will have a young male, which I think my granddaughters both of them could probably be heck of a football players. The little one can fly.
Yeah, she can run.
My daughter was. Yeah. But as a parent, I think that you owe it upon yourself for the safety of your children to make sure that whoever they're playing for is taking the proper steps to make sure that equipment is number one, safe, legal, and fitted.
Absolutely. And I asked that question, Coach, because I was just speaking with some parents in different schools. I was trying to do my due diligence on the safety and how important the equipment is as far as bringing kids in. And I just want to give flowers out to Rockwood. Rockwood High School and Middle School has spent about $40,000 to suit all their players up with SpeedFlex helmets. Kudos to you guys.
Amen.
And brand new Douglas shoulder pads. So, I mean, I got chill bumps thinking about it. That is the way that you want to care about your kids and their safety, and that's the way you're going to keep kids bringing them in. You're going to roll them in through that. So, and hopefully you guys and the parents, if you're with a youth football program that can't afford right now, right, the money to go buy the new equipment, try to take it upon yourself to make sure you equip your child with the proper equipment to make sure that your kid is safe.
Now, well, here's another thing, and I noticed it, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. What's the deal with these high school coaches letting their kids wear those knee pads up above their knees? I know UT does it. I know the colleges do it. But, hey, they're at a different level. These little kids see these big kids with these knee breeches not wearing their pads correctly. Hey, that's got to stop.
Well, that's the referee's job to notice that.
But they don't.
And so you have to not only put that on the player and the coach and the program, the ultimate guy that makes that decision is the stripe. The stripe has to make sure that the pads are where they need to be. And if they're not checking on that, that's like your safety. That's your last line of defense.
And all kids want to be like the older kids. And I can distinctly remember Coach Graham walking through the locker room and looking at a kid and say, "Have you lost your mind? Get those knee pads on correctly."
That's right.
You know, they want to cheat in everything and look like the older kids. Hey, high school coaches, make it happen.
Yeah.
Everybody has a role model.
Absolutely.
That's right. I bet you did say that. I did a lot of things like that. I guess as a coach, I was so people wouldn't think it the way that I am, but you coach with me as a head coach, and I'm so detail oriented about. You remember they came in wearing all them different colored socks? I told them.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
That ain't happening.
Let me tell you a story, though. Now, we're all telling stories, and we're having a good time.
We got time. We waiting
Let's
for
talk about, if you're on a road trip in college, and you forget your shoulder pads, Coach Graham, what happens to you then? We got to tell funny stories on each other. Coach Graham forgot his shoulder pads one time. He was at ETSU.
Okay.
Road trip, he
Okay.
forgot his shoulder pads.
Okay.
But there was a good trainer there that had a pair for you. What's he? He's not even going to look at me.
Yeah, it's a lot of things at East Tennessee State that I did. I can say Scotty Dykes, hush your mouth. Oh yeah, Johnny Williams two right now, man. But that's inside joke. But some of the East Tennessee State stories, I forgot that I was punished for not showing up to none of summer practice. Their punishment was to put me on defense. And that game, first game of the season, I started on defense. That was the punishment for me not showing up to practice.
Right.
And, I guess, the good Lord has a way of making things come full circle to make sure that you acknowledge him and know what he's done for you. And for me, going back looking at some of the decisions I made as a player at East Tennessee State specifically, as a coach, I tried to make sure those things wasn't done. Little things, little things.
It's the little things.
It's
How
little
many
things.
times I've heard Coach Graham, talk about the little things.
Right.
Little things.
It was the little things, and I, as a coach, I've been blessed to coach with some great coaches, both as a coach and as an assistant. Stanton Stevens gave me my shot, and if anybody know the premier athlete, Stanton Stevens, then Stanton was one that was very bold and brash. Stanton told me when he was an assistant at Oak Ridge High School, he said, one day I'm going to be a head coach, and you're going to be on my staff. And he kept to that promise, and through that promise gave me an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to order my steps to where I was meant to be. So, and it takes that. It takes other coaches to give opportunities, and you build upon that. There's so many great coaches. I'm been very blessed. I played under Joe Gaddis, coached under Joe Gaddis, and he's a coaching legend around here, well, in the state, and just to be around so many guys. I played for Bill Young, who was was a great man.
Was a great man.
A great man.
A great human
and I said
being.
he is a great man, and even with that, I learned so much from him as a coach. I played in youth league. The coach that I remember the most out of every coach is a guy named Bill Redman, who to me has as much to do with the success of Oak Ridge football in the mid to late 80s to the mid to late 90s than anybody.
We have got to touch on this. Robbie, you have all of our condolences.
Oh, yes.
Your
He's talking
dad
about
was
Robbie Black, Coach Black. Bob Black.
Such an influence.
Yes.
Such an influence.
Yes.
And I don't know anybody that didn't love him. And I used to envy him so bad when he would be holding the chains at the UT games. And the coaches would be making their decisions. And I thought, I wish he had a cell phone so I could say, Bob, what are they getting ready to do? Because he had the insight on it. He heard everything. What a great guy. Robbie, a great guy too. But I got to ask him, what were you thinking, Robbie, when you hired L.A. Hedrick? That's what that's the thing.
Guys, don't forget the phone lines are open. We are taking calls right now. If you guys want to give a call in to ask any question for Coach Kelly or Coach Kwayu. And if you want to take a shot at me, I'll probably pass it on to one of these guys. But the phone lines are open. You can call 865-483-8112. It's a direct line to get to us. So you can call toll free at 1-866-412-8112. It's a direct line straight to us. Coach, single A, double A ball. What is the chances of those kids that are really, really good or may be able to reach the next level? What is the chance of them going D1?
D1. Let's talk about this thing, D1. Y'all hear this all the time from people. My son is D1. First of all, let's remember this. It's an academic institution. It's not an athletic institution.
Amen. Thank you, Coach.
That's the first. That's first. Let's get that first.
Amen.
Amen.
A lot of people talk about D1 and don't know what D1 means. If you look at some schools that's considered Division I, it's mostly dealing with population and the number of female and male sports. That's the difference. And so it's like Gary Johnson said, follow the money as far as D1. Carson Newman College, which is a Division II school, has better facilities than many Division I schools.
Yes, I've seen the facilities. Very nice.
And so when we think of Division I, we have to understand that there's a lot of money the higher level you go. And when you get within the money, then there's politics with that. Wherever money's involved, politics involved. And so you talk about the single A, double A guys. I'm gonna tell you this. My dad told me this in 1984. If you can play, they'll find you in Poonduck, Mississippi. So those guys are professionals and they can find. The hard thing at those levels is getting enough, what's the word, exposure outside to gather that attention. You know, we just talked about, and we were serious, not to build up the Oneida and Coalfield game. They have some players that can play.
Yes, they do.
He has a sophomore.
There's a lot of A and 2A schools that have kids that can play.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And, you know, those coaches like Coach Graham, I can remember he would wear that phone out, calling colleges and say, hey, I've got a kid that's going to fit with your program. And it's up to those coaches to get the word out for their own kids, and they can do it. And it happens all the time.
Yes.
I don't want to cut y'all, Coach. It looks like we got a call coming in. We're going to take this first phone call. Thank you for calling in to the Graham's Gridiron Guidance Show. Who we speaking with today?
This be old Said B.
Said B, how you doing? How can we help you? What question you have for Coach Graham?
I just want to say, man, it's good to see you. I'm looking at this, man. I just want to tell Coach, man, he did so much. And I wish that he would come back, man.
Thank you.
What do you mean come back? Explain that.
Come back and coach him, man. We need him to coach him, man. We need to be, he's the legend, man. You know what I'm saying?
He is the
We
legend.
need Coach Graham back at Oak Ridge, man.
Amen.
He is the
Oak
legend.
Ridge is not the
Amen.
same.
He is the legend. He is
Thank
the
you,
legend.
thank you, Cedric. You know, all things happen in the right timing. You know, when the time is right, if that is what it's supposed to be, it will be. But I do truly thank you for that, and that makes me feel good to hear something like that. Thank you, my man.
Yes, sir.
You have anything else to add?
I just appreciate what you done, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Hey, we thank you for calling in. If you think of anything else, make sure you hit that line back up. Thank you so much for calling in, Sid.
Yes, sir.
All right, have a blessed one. Coach, they talk about you a lot. They want to see you coaching, man. Where do you feel like you're at with your coaching
In
right
demand. He is not telling it, but he's in demand.
Well, you know, quite honestly, I quit coaching in 2018. Despite what everybody think, you know. I'm gonna go ahead and get this here. This is my show, so I can say this. All right. I've never coached at Clinton High School. Never did. To say I did is, to me, is a, and I know they wouldn't feel this way, but it's a slap in the face of the coaches that's putting the effort, that's there every day, that's working every day to build a program that's trying to build a program, and they're doing a great job doing it. I probably have, my friend Scotty Dykes will tell you this, I probably have 9 huddle IDs for 9 different schools across Tennessee, Virginia, and North Carolina. If anybody ever calls me and asks me to help them with something, not that I am the end-all, the know-all, because I don't, but to just talk football or to say, Coach, this formation, this is what we was trying to do. How would you practice this, you know, to make it better? You know, just to have those conversations. Come to our field and look at this quarterback we got and see if he can play in the rivalry showcase game. If it's just that, then I get that. What Clinton has is, at one time, one of my best friends, Toby Tillman, a guy that became one of my best friends, Darrell Keefe, and a guy that's like a brother to me from the time I was a child, and that's Don Colquitt. They have those guys. So naturally, if anyone knows Coach Keefe, you want to go over there anyway just to see Keefe be Keefe.
That's right.
and get a good laugh. So,
right.
So I haven't coached since 2018. I had opportunities. And a lot of people don't know this, and I know Kelly may not like to hear this, but one of the schools that I really wanted to coach at, if I would ever leave Austin East, because I like to say Austin East is home to me. If I ever leave Austin East, I want to coach at Tyner High School in Chattanooga.
Oh, wow.
No, I do not want to hear it.
Oh, wow.
I want you at Oak Ridge High School. That's where you belong, Graham. You are Oak Ridge football. You are Oak Ridge football, and you're the only Oak Ridge player, ex-player, that has qualifications to do it.
Speaking of qualifications, and when I was in college at Mississippi State, I had to do a job shadow on what I wanted to do, and that was to be a coach. At the time, Coach Blade from California was the coach, and that's who I got the chance to job shadow.
A good one. Dang good one.
Yes, I love Coach Blade. Some of the things that he told me to be qualified to be a coach was you had to have what is a master's or bachelor's degree? What's the second one? The bachelor's, right?
Yeah, it's bachelor's first, then master's.
Okay, so you had to have the master's degree, and hold on, we'll take this call and we'll come back to that. But that's very important. A lot of people don't need to know that, but we're going to take this call. Thank you for calling in the Graham's Gridiron Guidance Show. Who are we speaking with today?
Hi, this is Brandon, Greenville, Tennessee.
How you doing, Brandon? Welcome, Greenville. Thanks for tuning in. How can we help you?
Yes, sir. I was going to see what y'all thought about the Alpha Greenville matchup this year.
Ooh.
Hey, I got to watch Greenville at the up at Jefferson City at Carson Newman of Jamboree. Mm-hmm. They played Oak Ridge, and Oak Ridge is getting better. They're looking good.
Yeah.
We'll get on to this in a second about last week's game. But Greenville played one group the first series, another group the second series.
Wow.
And another group the third series.
Wow.
And they're Brandon, they're 4A school, right?
Yeah, correct.
And Coach does a heck of a job. He's a good friend of mine. He coaches in the rivalry showcase game every year. Each year we've had it, and I don't even know if he's coaching this year. Coach probably tired of wagging them miles. But Greenville is one of the schools that's representing East Tennessee. As far as that game, Coach, watched a little bit of Alcoa the other day, just to watch them. They played Ravenwood, and a friend of mine's getting ready to play Ravenwood. And once again, another coach called to talk football, so I got to see Alcoa. Alcoa, one thing about Alcoa is they're well coached, and they're going to be physical. Greenville is well coached, and they're going to be physical. And
yes.
One of I call them my little men is one of my players' son, Brandon Winton. Son is there now.
Big, yeah.
And he is everything that they said he would be. Yeah. His dad was a good player for me now, don't get me wrong, but Dad is not like Son. Son is special. He's special. Now Cole got several special players there. That game, where's that game at, Brandon?
It's at Greenville.
Ooh. When I was at Central, I made that bus ride.
Ooh. That's a big game.
This is the thing. You're dealing with two programs where both teams are used to winning. Greenville, I would like to see if Greenville special teams can handle the pressure in big moments. That would be the difference for me.
Well, the good thing about that is we have a senior kicker that puts it into the end zone.
Yes.
And he also handles punting duty, stuff like that. I know what you're talking about as far as coverage-wise and everything.
Yes.
They got speed. They're dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the game we're looking forward to. We have Dobbins Bennett this Friday, which is not going to be no rollover game.
Right.
No.
Joey Christian, that's a friend of mine.
But
Greenville
my son
will
plays
be,
O-line, D-line, so he's a sophomore starting this year. So we're excited to see what he does against a big physical Alcoa team.
Nice.
Great. And I'm telling you what, get ready. Get him his pickle juice, his water, his Gatorade, and tell him to get his rest, because that game is going to be physical.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Everybody talks about the skills on both of those, and they do have great skills. Don't get me wrong. This thing about Brandon Winton. But it's those fronts are well coached, number one. Nasty, both of them. So that's going to be goodness great. That's not this week, though. That's next week.
The thing that you were talking about that you touched on, the special teams, the kicking, that kid at Greenville, if he can put it in the end zone, that takes a major weapon away from Alcoa.
Absolutely.
A major weapon.
Who do you have winning,
A very
Coach?
wise man once said, press the kicking game, for this is where the breaks are made.
Who do you have winning, Coach?
That's right.
I have Greenville
By
I'm thinking Greenville wins by 10.
10 points. What do you got, Coach?
I have Alcoa.
Alcoa
I
by?
have Alcoa. I have Alcoa by 4.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
All right.
is Coach Rankin still at Alcoa?
No.
That's
No,
what
he's at Boyd Buchanan now.
No, he's
He's
gone.
at Boyd. Yeah, he's at Boyd Buchanan.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you
I've
might
got
as well say
Greenville.
you have
So,
him.
so
Nick's
this
been
is
there
my
forever.
last
Well,
question.
that's true, he has.
Is
Man, that's
Is
a hostile
Alcoa still-
environment up there,
That
Greenville.
is. Greenville is a hostile
I
environment.
mean,
is.
you go
It
in
is.
there and everybody hates you.
is
And you feel
Alcoa
it.
still the team to beat?
As far as 2A, of course.
Yeah.
Of
Okay.
course. And Greenville may be the team to beat. Greenville's hungry. After last year in Anderson County, Greenville, Spradley, Spradley ready. I picked Alcoa. I did pick Alcoa.
About 4, and you got Greenville about 10.
But you're right. I forgot
But I
that
think
the
if
game
you
was at
jump on
Greenville.
Alcoa and you're ahead, you can put it on them.
Coach, you know
Absolutely.
what? That game may be very similar to the West. Was it West and Alcoa game, or what? Was West to beat Alcoa last year?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it
That
was.
game may be because Greenville. If you think of West and what they do offensively, they're gonna power you. They're gonna run the football. And they're gonna play sound defense. And Greenville does. That's what they do.
Greenville is just so fundamentally sound. That's what, as an
Every year.
offensive line coach, they gave me problems because they just like Coach Majors used to say. Sometimes you can't trick them. You got to whip them.
That's right, Coach.
And
Hey.
whipping Greenville physically at Greenville is not an easy task.
Absolutely.
Hey, Brandon, thank you so
you for
much for
calling
that
in,
call,
Brandon.
man. 'Cause
That was
I did.
good.
I did not know that they play each other.
That's nice.
In a couple
Yes,
weeks.
sir.
That's nice.
Thank you,
That's
man. And
one
good
to
luck
go
to Greenville.
Yeah,
Tell
good
Coach
luck to your
Spradley I
son.
said, hey.
all right, go Devils.
All right, thanks. Guys, we want to take another call. Thank you for calling in the Graham's Gridiron Guiding Show. Who are we speaking with today?
This is Coach John Spratler.
Oh, my
What's
boy.
up, Coach? How you
Yeah.
doing?
I'm good. I wanted to give my classmate, my roommate, friend, Coach Graham, a shout out for this show. I'm good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, John. This is John Spratler, and he's the, we're going to have our own, for everyone who's listening, we're going to talk middle school, we're going to talk youth programs. John, if y'all only knew, when kids say that they can't, he's one of the examples that did. And I'm not going to go any further than that. Very proud. I have a shirt on right now. On the back of it talks about Scarborough 85.
Yeah, shout out to you, Coach.
He really pushed that initiative, and we are so thankful for getting that put in the history books. And he was a heck of a player, and I wish he'd have played a little tailback in high school, because all my life, as a football player, he was toting that ball from deep. And he just unfortunately was a good DB that he had to
Yeah.
play DB first.
Yeah.
But John, thank you for calling, man, and look forward. Also, doing Martin Luther King. If anyone has the middle school teams that's looking to play, doing the Martin Luther. What week is that, John? John.
Coach Pratt, you still there with us?
No, I guess
January 15th.
January 15th. We're looking for another team on January 15th to come out and
January 15th.
on January 15th to come out and play, John. It's good talking to you, John. We thank you. Thank you for giving us a call, man. We really do.
Hey, what's going on down at Midway? Is it Midtown High School? Midway or Midtown? What is it? Down outside of Kingston?
Midtown.
Midtown.
Midway.
Yeah, that's Midway.
They had a heck of a middle school team last year, and I think they ended up playing in La Follette. They've got an up-and-coming program. They had a kid I watched down there, running back. I don't know what his name was, number 32. He was special. He was special.
okay.
You know, but I heard good things about what's going on.
Guys, we had so much great fun. It's almost about that time for us to close. We touched base on a lot. We will be here every Wednesday. Make sure you get your calls in. Coach Graham wants to answer your questions. We appreciate all that's tuned in. This is a very special moment for all the surrounding counties, especially the Tri-County and Roane County area. We're really going to be touching base with you guys, giving you your flowers that you definitely deserve. We really appreciate you. Again, I'm your host, Coach DJ Pendergrass.
Coach Kelly.
And the one and only.
Coach Graham.
Absolutely. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will finish that conversation about the eligibility of a coach that can coach at Oak Ridge High School, because there are certain requirements that need to be made to be able to be that coach. We hear people talking about anybody can't just be a coach. So you guys stay tuned in. We have a lot of great information that's coming straight to you. This is Coach DJ Pendergrass. We're here live at Graham's Gridiron Guidance. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.